Every day. Every day. I think every day. Every live stream. Definitely every live stream. I read my comments all the time. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Snapchat, YouTube comments. Every single day, students ask me,
how can I get better in this class?
And it doesn't matter if it's this class da-da-da or this class da-da-da. Most of the times it's classes I've never even heard of. But a cool thing about math is it doesn't really matter. A lot of the tips that I can give for one class is going to be completely applicable to your own class. So I love the idea of students telling me, hey, I'm in this class, like what is the main tip, right? But the main tip I can tell you for another class, you can use that tip to help you be successful in your own class. However, here is the main thing. If you try to do too many things all at once, you're not going to take advantage of any tip. So in this video, I am going to go through 5 different tips. But please don't do these 5 tips this year. If you've been following my channel or showed up on one of my live streams, you will know that most of these tips you've probably heard before. But here's the thing. If you're watching this video, you're probably not doing them, even though you already know them. So let's go through my 5 favorite tips that I usually tell students whenever they say,
hey, Mr. McLogan, I'm taking this class. What is a tip I can be to be successful?
I'm here for you. Let's go and get started. So the first tip I'd like to start with, and again, I cannot reiterate this enough. This is a great tip for all Algebra 1 students. And again, if you were going through like a typical American curriculum of like Algebra 1 to Calculus, you could follow these, like focus one tip every single year. And again, what happens is every single year, you're going to build on one tip, then the next tip, and you're going to keep on going. However, it doesn't matter what class you're taking. This does not only apply to Algebra 1. However, I did think about this as an Algebra 1 tip because it does focus on something that so many Algebra 1 students struggle with, and that is practicing the basics. See, when we begin with Algebra 1 or with a lot of other courses, once we start getting into something abstract or something that we're not familiar with, we start to struggle. All learning is taking something that you do not know and connecting it with something that you do know. Right? And what are the things you do know? You know the basics, right? You know the arithmetic, you know the basic relationships up to the point in Algebra 1. So as you're learning that Algebra 1 curriculum, don't forget about the basics. Always try to make sure you are creating those relationships between what you do know and then what you are trying to learn. Because a lot of students struggle with Algebra 1. Because it's a lot of new stuff and they have a hard time relating what they do know to the new algebraic concepts. So the more you can focus on the basics, the more you can practice the basics, the better understanding you're going to have that you can build on for future classes. Now, once you have a good idea of when you're learning something, you're focusing on the basics. Again, going back to the really, really easy stuff that you understand and always trying to make connections of doing a really, really easy problem and building up from there, like scaffolding that information. It's time to get to the next tip, which is my geometry tip. Now, my geometry tip is create a cheat sheet. I love creating cheat sheets, and I didn't create them first in geometry, but geometry is probably the best class that you could create a cheat sheet for. Why? Because there's so many theorems and postulates and definitions and formulas that you need to remember in your geometry class. And again, one of the biggest reasons why students struggle in geometry is because they can't recall or retain all of that information. It's a lot. So what I tell my students when creating a cheat sheet is you're taking your notes, you're taking your homework, you're taking your tests, your quizzes, take all the most important information that you need to remember from that content and put it on a sheet of paper. Number 1, that's going to help you organize all the information so you can remember it. And then 2, it's a great study tool. When you're doing your homework, when you're studying for your test, you have something quick to reference, right? Rather than trying to say, what was that formula? And flipping through all these pages and trying to find something, you have your cheat sheet right next to you and do a cheat sheet for every single chapter. So therefore, when it comes in the semester or the final exam, you have like 6 or 7 cheat sheets that you can just quickly study and remember the information. Cheat sheets are an excellent way to study for a math test, as well as help you organize the information. But just doing cheat sheets or writing down notes is not going to be enough. We all know to be successful in math, you have to do. You have to practice. And that brings into my Algebra 2 tip, which is practice. The worst tip that you probably wanted to hear in this video, but it's the absolute truth. Why just rely on the 5 examples that your teacher said,
hey, go and do this for your homework, or here's your review?
Is that enough? Probably not. All those students have different ability, right? So unless your teacher is giving every single student an individualized homework assignment, you know you're just getting an assignment that is the bare minimum to be successful on a test or quiz. It is not designed for each and every student. So don't rely on that. Make sure you are doing extra practice problems. When you learn how to do something, right, it goes back to the basic free throw in basketball. If I tell you to do 10 free throws and then whatever you get out of the next 5, like 3 out of 5, 4 out of 5, that will determine your grade. How good do you think you'd be? Well, I mean, again, it all depends on your ability. But what if I said, all right, now do 100 free throws, and then we will judge you on the next 5 and give you a grade? And again, it's all dependent on your ability, but hopefully I think you guys would all agree that if you did 100, it's going to be better than doing 10. And then what if I said, all right, you got to now do 1,000 free throws, and then we will now assess you on your next 5. Now, am I telling you to do 100 math problems? No. Do I want you to be doing 1,000? Please no. but I'm hoping that you get the idea. Just doing 3 examples of a concept or a problem is probably not enough, right? But a lot of students just feel like, oh, my teacher only assigned us 1 or 2 problems, so like that's it. Guys, there is tons of extra examples in your book or online that you can practice to really make sure you know what you're doing. Just because you did the problem one way doesn't mean you're going to be successful when you see that test or the quiz and it's very similar, but the problem has now been changed up or you have a variation. The more examples that you can do, the better you're going to understand the material, as well as be prepared for those variations on the test and the quiz. So if that's making you mad because you realize,
Crap, I need to be doing more practice.
now the next tip is definitely not going to help out either, because that's even more examples. That is my pre-calculus tip, which is spiral review. Now, guys, this is a game changer tip. I cannot tell you how much success I have seen from students just simply adapting this one tip. And all spiral review basically means is every time that you're doing problems like the Algebra 2 tip, make sure you also sprinkle in some problems from previous chapters. Just don't always do what you're doing, right? You should always go back to the previous chapter and the chapter before that and continue doing some of those examples from your homework. Or maybe go back to your quiz or your test and redo some of those examples. Because when you spiral review, you're keeping the content fresh into your brain. Because what happens all the time? Students stay in the moment, right? They just focus on what they're learning. They don't go back and try to remember all the stuff they learned. And then it comes down to the test or the exam, and they have to go back and remember all that material. And it's frustrating, it's stressful. And what do they end up doing? They end up cramming because they don't have enough time to remember all of the content, because rightfully so, it's a lot of content. So please do yourself a favor and don't wait till the end to study. Constantly be studying throughout the year. Now, the way that I did this as a teacher, I used to give my students like 5 multiple choice problems on top of their free response problems for their homework. I would also give them 5 problems that was a spiral review. So therefore, they were always spiral reviewing throughout the whole year. And I'm telling you, you could see the difference from the students that did the reviews compared to the students that did not. All right, now that you have focused on the basics, you've created your cheat sheet, you're doing more extra problems, and you're spiral reviewing, what else could you possibly do to be successful in math? Well, and that is to practice more. What? Yes, I'm serious. But this type of practice is a little bit different. But again, it's just the reality of trying to learn something new. You got to know the basics. You got to understand the basics and make those connections. You got to create cheat sheets to help your brain connect and to help you review. You have to do practice skills over and over and over again. And you have to spiral review to keep that content fresh. But also you have to put yourself in a position that you can be successful on tests and quizzes. Because if you made it this far, I'm assuming you've probably had that feeling before on a test where you just have the stress and frustration. You felt like you are prepared. You understood things on the test and in the homework, and then you get to your test and you're like, what is this? The teacher never taught this stuff, or whatever problems he did in class was way easier than what is on this test. It's like the classic issue for students in mathematics. Now, how can we overcome this? How can we make sure that we can be successful no matter what the teacher gives us? And that comes down to practicing, but not just practicing math problems or not just practicing spiral review problems, but practicing types of problems that you're going to see on the test. Every time students ask me,
What do I need to do for this exam or this type of test or ACT, SAT?
I say get an SAT, ACT book or whatever your examination book is and practice problems over and over and over again. Because the more familiar you can be with answering test questions or putting pressure on yourself, getting questions right in whatever kind of format they are, the better prepared you're going to be when the assessment time comes. I made the analogy early in this video about shooting the basketball and that determines your grade, right? And let's say you got 4 out of 5, that would be an 80%, right? 3 out of 5, that would be a 60%. A 5 out of 5 would be 100%. Now, if I was really to give you 5 shots and that determined your grade, that's a lot of stress. Unless you're really good at basketball, which I was not, then you might not be as stressed out. But again, think about that taking the 5 shots. That's a lot of pressure, isn't it? Now, if you take 5 shots that one time, right after 10 shots, you're like, oh, that was very stressful and you might do really bad. But what if I gave you that second opportunity, right? After the 100 shots or after the 1,000 shots, the more times you put pressure on yourself, you put yourself in that situation of trying those problems, the better you're going to be. That's one of the reasons why I don't like the ACT or SAT, because you can really gain the system by taking it over and over again, practicing, and you will get better at those tests and exams. I think there's many components that's wonderful about them, but also there are some legitimate issues. So if your teacher gives you a review, if your teacher gives you a practice test, then take them. I used to give students my access to my online pre-calculus course. And inside that course, the students had access to my previous tests. And I allowed my students to say, yeah, take my test, like take last year's test. See what types of problems they're on. Get yourself prepared for the test. I didn't give them the same problems. I always made up a new test each and every year. But if they went through last year's test or the year before's test, or they went through the review and they went through all of that work, they were going to be prepared for that test. Compared to the student that said,
I understand my homework. I understand the notes. Oh, wow, that was a much harder test than I was prepared for.
well, yeah, you weren't prepared. You got to over prepare for those tests and quizzes. Put in the work. Math can be hard, but that doesn't mean you can't improve. Seriously, guys, pick one of these tips, maybe two of these tips, and dedicate this year to using them. And then next year, do the same with two others. I guarantee you will start to see results. I can't guarantee an A. If I could give you one, I would give you one. But I know you can be successful if you put in the work. And that's what I want you to do. Best of luck. Cheers.